Welcome to another edition of Office Hours with State Representative John Hampton. Delighted to have you back watching our show. Today we're celebrating motherhood. We're a few months off from Mother's Day, but I'm delighted to be joined by two extraordinary women talking about motherhood and all that entails. And their book is called Just Ordinary Moms. It's a terrific book. And two of the authors here are with us, Robin Cournoyer and Linda Spevacek. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Just Ordinary Moms. Tell us about your journey on writing this book and what it's all about.
Well, where do you want us to start, John?
How did you come to write this book? Tell us why people should read it, and men and women, fathers, brothers, sisters should read it, and tell us how it all began.
Well, the journey actually started around 20 years ago when many of us joined newcomers.
Okay.
And then our newcomers group evolved into a play group, and then play group evolved into a book club. And I'm giving you the shortened version.
Yep.
And so the play group, as I said, evolved into a book club. And about 4 years ago, we read a book, and we realized that one of the authors had written a book to his 6 children. And then so we looked at each other and said, wow, this guy, he wrote a book for his children.
He's just a dad.
He's just a dad.
We're just moms.
Yeah.
We
could do this.
We can do this. So that's how it kind of got going. So we gave each other the summer, write your stories. We're going to write the book in September. Everybody come with your stories and we'll write a book. And that was 4 years later, so it took a few years.
It did take a few years. And we recruited other people, too, along the way. There were a couple people who weren't in the book club, but we knew that they were either very funny or they had a great story to tell. And actually, one of them was found on Facebook. It's so great, because I had posted something on a business Facebook page about what's something you've always wanted to do, always dreamed of doing, but haven't gotten around to yet. And one of the authors wrote a comment that said, be a published author. And I wrote her back, well, I think I can help you with that. And we brought her into the group, so it's just, we ended up with 8 of us. And
you're all friends now?
Oh. Yeah, we're still friends.
Good.
We still like each other.
You survived the writing of the book together with?
Yeah.
It's an epic process.
Yes,
It is.
absolutely. And the whole business, too, afterwards. There's just a lot of things we hadn't really thought about what it means to be, have a business built around a book. And we all have other professional lives as well. So it's been pretty busy.
So you, in writing the book, it is a self-published book?
It is.
Why that versus other publishing houses that people use?
Well,
how did that end up happening?
I think we just decided, we didn't know that it was actually going to be such a big deal as it's turned out to be. So we just thought, we'll just publish a book and we'll do it the easy way. We won't go out and try to look for agents and publishers and things like that. And self-publishing is pretty easy these days. So we did it, and then it's, we're just having so much fun sort of getting it out there, and readers are very receptive, loving it.
Yeah.
So, maybe we will go through, the agent publishing process at some point, especially when we finish our sequels, because we are working on a couple.
We're working on sequels.
Yeah.
We got to get to the
books.
sequels, and a TV show, and a movie.
You got it, a movie.
Yeah,
Famous
exactly.
in Hollywood, right?
Well, I love the cover.
Sandra Book.
Can we tell you a little bit about the cover?
Yes. How did this cover?
Isn't this cover beautiful?
Very creative.
That was sort of trial and tribulation. We honestly, I don't think any of us thought it was going to be that big of an ordeal for the cover.
Yeah.
We tried to commission students that we knew who were artists, illustrators. We called universities, let's have a competition. We put things on Craigslist. We tried so many things that failed, basically. And then Linda found the company, and the woman is from where again?
Online, we use 99designs.com, but there's different eDesk, Odesk, all kinds of people you can go to online, but this was 99designs.com. And it was great. We got to put our ideas into a proposal, offer an amount, and then artists come back with visuals of their ideas, and you select down to a little handful and then start working with that group. Wow. But it was really, I think we started out where we were going to have something more like a clothesline or a necklace or something pretty, but we wanted to convey everything that motherhood is.
Into a pizza.
So this is, it's actually a pie.
It looks like a pizza,
so it's got an iPhone stuck in it to represent business, of course, a martini, the binky, the sneaker, and the mitts, and yet, you know, it's still got the little bit of glam with the necklace, because of course we all want to be women, and at the same time, and luxurious and elegant. So, you know, it really captures sort of everything that's on a mother's plate, if you will. So we ended up being just thrilled with it.
Now, does the book cover how motherhood has changed over time, you know, and evolved with, you know,
it really doesn't.
More women working, obviously, since I was a child, and technology and, you know, just more chaotic. I mean,
the book is true stories, and they span from labor stories to teenagerhood.
Okay.
So it's not an advice book.
It's just real stories that you can relate to.
We're not experts at this.
Yeah,
it's real stories you can relate to. I mean, for example, do you want to read
I'd
one
love
little
if you
excerpt
read,
from,
sure.
You know, so we can do a labor and a
we
tiny
can just
little
have
absolutely.
so you get a feel for what it's like.
This is just a little clip of a woman going into labor. Did I wake up my husband immediately? No. I ironed. Why I ironed? I have no idea, but that's what I've done now for 3 labors. By the way, I hate to iron, but it is what has helped me get to 3 labors. And then, you know, she goes on to say how she got into the hospital, the contractions are getting closer, she's really in a lot of pain, and as she's looking for her husband, she looks down and has a little superlative in here. What are you doing on the floor? Sir, have some juice. What about me? I need the attention now. Now, I'm the one having the baby. I'm going to be delivering any second now. And then, you know, the doctor goes on and progresses. And, you know, one of the things that we love when we share our stories, we've gone to a lot of different women's groups. It doesn't matter what age, if women are in their 20s to 80s, it gets everyone talking about labor again and having that connection and connecting with these stories, because as Linda said, they're really universal stories. They haven't changed. You know, motherhood hasn't changed over the years.
There's one story in here called Growing Tech that is about communicating with a boy, sort of an adolescent age boy, and how different that is. You know, how we used to have she's driving him, and we used to have conversations in the car, and now he's just involved with his iPhone. But then later on, he actually sends her a little text, a little communication, and she realizes, even though this is the new way and it doesn't feel quite right, you know, it just sort of lifts her heart. So it does address some of the new ways, but from really a mother's standpoint, you know.
Well, my brother, who's a father, I got a kick out of him because the other day he had his phone and he said, well, I haven't heard from Patrick, his son, who's down in college in Baltimore in 20 minutes. I said, Chris, that's ridiculous. I said, when we were in college, we were lucky enough to go to the basement of the dorm, to the payphone, to call collect, maybe once twice a week.
Yeah.
We were, you know, those communication tools. So, I mean, how has that changed motherhood in terms of, do you have kids in college now yourself, and are you Skyping and doing all of that?
I have 3 sons, and my last one just graduated in May.
Okay,
yes,
great.
so they're done.
Yeah.
But when one of them was in Europe, you were Skyping and all of that, right?
Yeah, and it was so nice to be able to connect. And then if you know, a few days went by, I was asking his brothers, you know, is he okay? I haven't heard from him. He's fine, Mom. He just posted some pictures up on Facebook. Okay, all right. You know, you want to make sure he's okay.
Yeah, but you know, my mom had 7 kids. I'm one of 7, and she took us, you know, on Saturdays over to Simsbury Farms, the pool, and she was like, "Gosh, if 7 of you came back, or 5 of you, you know, whatever." We went out in the old days, and you know, there was
ride the bikes for all afternoon and never show up.
Yeah.
Are there stories in here that will be emotional to people?
Yes.
Is there stories, and we're talking about laughing stories, but sad stories, and talk about some of those?
Yeah, and I think, did you want to
There's a
read
couple
one?
of the rough things.
Yeah.
And one of the things I just wanted to mention, you had asked earlier, you know, what are we trying, or what are the stories all about? And what our goal is to really like join mothers and make mothers feel not so isolated. That yes, you know, everybody goes through these things. We tend not to share. You know, there's moments that are not stellar moments that
we sort of pretend like everything's perfect a lot, even when you're in a play group.
And it's not. And these are like
sort of trying to be at your best.
Yeah.
and you want your child to look their best.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's another great story in here, The Good Mother, about when the woman's at a play group and the mothers are all saying, "Oh my gosh, that poor Timmy's so misbehaving. That the mother really should pull him out of here, give him a timeout." And how judgmental we are without meaning to be, but then how hurtful that can be, and also how unrealistic that really is. We're all trying our best, and of course the mother had tried timeout. She's tried everything with Timmy, but he's still going to whack somebody now and then.
Yeah.
And
Timmy.
so this struggle about being more forgiving and being more honest and open with each other is what some of the stories would speak to. And when we go out to readers groups, that's a lot of what we hear is, "Oh my gosh, I thought I was the only one, and you've really touched a chord in the way I feel."
And then they start talking about something that they had experienced years ago and just feel so much better. Oh, everybody else has gone through this? I thought I was the only one that this happened to.
That's true of many aspects of our lives. Yeah.
There is one story in here that's probably the roughest one, is about, it's sort of a sexting story, and it speaks to sort of the technology.
Yeah.
And, it reveals some things about a child that really a mother probably never would want to know or should know, but she's going through the text because she's worried about something. And there's a lot of discussion potential around that story. But it's probably the roughest one in here because of what she finds out. You asked about some of the sad stuff.
Yeah. Was there anything about loss and
Fortunately, none of us experienced any death in that way. There's a story written by a mom whose mother had left her family when she was little, and her experience of that and that impact on her now as a parent. So that's another one that's sort of goes a little bit more deeply into some family kinds of issues.
The dynamics.
Yeah, and then we have this amazing epilogue.
Yeah.
Tell us about the epilogue.
The epilogue it was actually one of the members of our group was on vacation with their family, and somebody actually found a message in a bottle, and they thought, "Oh, this is this lighthearted, message from somebody, and oh, this is fun. We've never found a message in a bottle." But as they opened it up, they realized that it wasn't a lighthearted message in a bottle. It's a very.
Do you want to read it?
Yeah, it's a very heartfelt. I'll just start from where the mom.
Or read from where you open it up, like he smashes the bottle, and then what's in there, and it's just so beautiful.
When you had a picture there?
Yes, and we have a picture. And this is after numerous attempts and much toil, we determined the only way to obtain the message was to break the glass. My husband carefully smashed the lower end of the bottle against the edge of the large metal trash barrel and handed me the rolled message inside, which was accompanied by a feather and a shell. I began to read. "To the heart of my heart, my precious little girl, this is incredible to me still that you are not with us. I carry you in my heart, every breath, every thought you are close. You are a young lady now, 15 years old, and I see you all fresh and full of energy and life. I miss you so much. No one can know how much. It amazes me how one can get used to living with the shock of your loss. It is always with me, and all my happy moments are tinged with sadness and disbelief. I long for you. I want to touch your hair and hear your laugh. You are my little angel. I hope you're in a beautiful and peaceful place, and one day we will meet there, and I know you in an instant. Until then, you are in my every moment. I love you, Mom." And we've all read that many times, but it just
that's worth
really
picking up the
very
book.
Powerful.
It just hits you, and we've never met this mom, and the message was literally found on the
delivered
beach,
at the feet, in the waves.
Our hearts just go out to her.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the worst thing, to lose your child.
That's beautiful.
It also we were years into this project, and we might still be years into the project and never having done it. But when the ocean sends you a message
right there
from a mom when you're in the middle of writing a book of stories of motherhood, we felt that was a sign we need to finish this book. So we got on it big time after that. It was like, okay, we got to get this out there.
Well, it was sort of like a jigsaw puzzle, putting all those pieces together, and where the writing process and putting it together was there amongst these, all your friends now, was there fighting? Was there drama, disagreement, emotion as you're writing it? And
Emotion, yes.
There's always drama, emotion, but I
mean, working with a large group of people.
And at the very beginning, I think it was in the first month, and I remember Linda saying, okay, we need to agree to disagree, which was great advice for all of us, because 8 different women, you're going to disagree. But
different people.
At the same point, I think everybody was very encouraging of each other as far as stories. Yeah, that's good, but you can make it better, and we would help, and it was just so wonderful to see the evolution of a story starting, and then a couple years later, how it just got so much better.
Mm-hmm. And we got better at writing too, and faster.
Yes.
And we should mention that we said we want to do sequel books. We are actually looking for other people's stories. We want to tap into any audiences that are watching this show, or any of the other things that any other interviews that we've done. We're really looking to search far and wide. We're doing a Just Ordinary Moms 2, which is a sequel of other mom stories. We're doing one that's really special for military moms. We think that's going to be really important as these kids are starting to come back. And we've met with a number of military moms, and they really need to share and tell their stories. They think it's important. We'd like to do one with dads. So if we can get enough dads to submit stories. So on our website, actually, people can contact us if they have a story idea, and it doesn't have to be fully developed yet, because we're helping people develop stories. And actually, in the back of every book is a story writing workshop that will help people get started. So included in the book is a workshop of how to write your story.
Terrific, and I know we're going to show the website at the bottom of the screen, so folks can go and visit and learn more. How are sales going with the book?
Good. We've been very pleased.
Yeah, and every time we go out and do a reading or a group, and we get that energy in that group of 20 women, or it's 50 women, it's mostly women. There have been a number of dads buying the book too for their sisters and mothers.
Yeah.
But it's been great. Again, we just never expected it, so it's it's going to keep evolving, and we don't really know where it's going to go.
Now, how many children do you have?
I have 2 boys.
2 boys. How old?
They are now 22 and 24.
Okay.
In the book, they're younger.
And
I won't tell you which stories are mine.
So
but
you have the frat house stories, living with all men.
There is a little bit of that. Yeah.
Tell us about living with all men. Being a mother of 2 sons.
Yes,
How is that?
I love it, actually. I definitely am a boy's mom. I mean, we grew up with a pond in our backyard, and hunting for frogs and swimming in the pool and skiing and playing ice hockey. And my husband still plays hockey. And now one of my sons and my husband are on the same hockey team together. They play at ISC in Simsbury.
Nice.
So, and I'm very athletic and active. But I have 2 boys. Robin has 3.
3 boys.
Yeah.
So we're
3.
both boy households.
Yeah.
And how was your experience?
With boys?
Yeah.
I think God did the right thing giving me boys. I mean, it's been wonderful having boys. I mean, I think it would be lovely sometime if they ever decide to get married and I have a granddaughter. I would love that.
Daughters-in-law.
But having boys is great. As Linda said, you're in the backyard playing soccer, skiing. I mean, it's been wonderful. I really, now that they're not involved in local sports, you miss that, not going to all their activities.
You can come to my husband and son's men's league games. You can. I go and put my Uggs on.
Now, some of my siblings are experiencing the empty nest. Mm-hmm. What about that? I know they're traumatized to a certain degree. There's some of that, yes, they're gone and we're free, but there's also moments of,
so quiet, yeah.
So do you talk about that in the book?
You should. That'd be
in the next one, I think that would be. But at the point we were writing these stories, none of us had really had that experience.
Right.
I can tell you, however, I've been an empty nester 5 times, and I only have 2 kids. So do come back sometimes.
I've heard, God, my parents had 7 kids, and they knew. They all,
At different points in their lives.
But that's something, I have 6 siblings, and they're starting to have kids in college, and it's kind of a dramatic moment.
It's very difficult. The worst moments for me were actually not even the dropping them off at college, but sort of coming home to that empty house, or then when they would come home for a visit, and then the day they left again, you have to kind of keep going through that little heartache. But they're out there in the world doing what they're supposed to do. I mean, so we have to be really happy for them.
Now, what are mental breaks
Mental breaks.
Yeah, we all need one of those.
Yeah, there's a story called Mental Breaks. That is a great story because it's a story of what happens when a mother's mind just sort of takes over, and what happens in that story is the kid is living in New York City, and some of the mail that she has sent him is getting returned. And she starts getting worried, well, maybe, has he left his dorm? Is it possible he's not living there anymore? Well, he could have moved out. Colleges don't tell you anything anymore. What if he's found some girlfriend and, goes on, what if, and then one of the papers is actually something about pregnancy. So she's thinking, wow, is somebody pregnant? Is he like living with a pregnant girlfriend? And then she's thinking, they should come home. They should come live with us. She goes on this mental, and then it's about stop, just mental, put the brakes on that mental craziness. She gets up the courage to call him on the cell phone and finds out it's all related to something else. And no worries. Yes, I'm still in the dorm. I don't know why they're returning my mail, Mom. Duh. It's just.
Well, we still laugh at my 82-year-old mother, who, when we were kids, and she was so poised most of the time, but she'd say, "I'm so mad I could spit," and that was like, you could tell my mother was mad.
That's a great momism, because in between each chapter we have momisms interspersed.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
And I'm so mad I could spit isn't even in here.
I mean, from a 50s mom. But then, we're driving in the old station wagon. We always loved this one too, and we were all crazy. And she goes, "I'm going to let my hand fly, and I don't care where it lands."
There's another good one. Gotta write these down.
Of course, in this day and age, social services would be calling. Right. But back then in the 70s, I don't care where it lands. My poor mother driving 7 kids around. I mean, how did they do it?
I don't know.
And that many.
Having driven 7 boys with their hockey bags in the back of a van, I know what that's like. Other kids too.
How have your husbands handled this process, and significant others? Have they been supportive?
Very.
Super supportive. It's
even
great.
our kids too. They all bought the books. They've read the books. They put it on Facebook.
They're working on a revenge book.
Yeah, that'll be sweet. Yeah. Oh God, how embarrassing for moms writing this book. Yeah.
And just very
moms on
proud
Facebook
that we did it.
One of the things we did, though, was we changed names, locations,
to protect
genders, to protect the not so innocent.
Yeah, exactly.
And we also did not put our individual names on our individual stories because, again, they're really so universal that they could have been written by anyone. In fact, it happened even within our own book club. One of the women was reading her stories, kind of testing it out on people, and somebody else in the room said, "Wow, with a few different tweaks, that could have been my story." So they really are universal. They really can relate to many things that many moms go through.
Do you think motherhood is still respected and revered, as a...
Well, that speaks to why we called it Just Ordinary Moms a bit.
I mean, sometimes in our society that, women, well, she's just a mother.
Exactly. She's just a mom.
Do you, are we coming back, hopefully, to a attitude where it's a blessing, it's an extraordinary gift, it's an extraordinary job? I mean, if you are a mother and don't do anything else, as my mother gave up med school to raise us 7 kids.
And didn't do anything else. I mean, she did a huge thing.
And that's revered, and that's a calling almost, and a mission.
Absolutely.
So do you think that attitude is evolved and changing, and people have that respect? And
I hope so. I mean,
do you hope that comes out of this book?
I think so. I think what it does is try to elevate the ordinariness. But also show how that it's really
exactly
extraordinary.
What we
were, and so it does say that on the back. It's really about, and that's why we try to highlight a lot of these stories start with just an ordinary moment or an ordinary event, but its impact is so much larger in very many ways. So.
And I love how you have a martini recipe. Talk about a great epilogue. Really, that's. But I love the nest. I want to get to the nest. That poem.
That poem
is. I love poetry.
Yeah, there's 2 poems in here.
So I do love the nest, and we have a few minutes here.
Do you want to read it?
Yeah. They were such fragile birds when born, 2.5 pounds each. Their hair looked shorn, their little fingers and toes how I did adorn. Each night as they nested to sleep, I hoped their dreams soared to good places. 2 ducklings of many at daycare, bright horizons. Grandpa called it Harvard horizons. I called it my all-important get back to career horizons. Each night as they nested to sleep, I prayed that their flight toward their own horizons would always be bright. Well, that's just beautiful.
It is
So
beautiful,
people
isn't it?
can,
Yeah,
It is
Some people
beautiful.
can write.
Yeah,
well, you all
that's
can write.
Neither one of
beautiful.
us.
You all can write, and really want to encourage folks to pick this up and to go to the website. And it's great to meet these extraordinary women, and you, when you read this book, will meet all of these women, and I'm sure relate to the stories and cry and laugh and celebrate all the great things of being a mom. And I have the best mom in the world, so I'm extremely blessed, and this is terrific. So I really appreciate you coming out, and we look forward to further sequels. It looks like there's going to be quite a few, right? What are some of the names that you're talking about? I saw some of the.
Just Ordinary Moms 2.
But I
Just
also thought
Ordinary
thought some
Pets.
other extraordinary. There was another
Military moms,
military moms. Okay.
dads, and we're also doing one for pets.
Pets.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
pets are so part of our families, right?
Yeah.
Amazing, yes.
So if you have a pet story, anyone,
So this is
send
going
it
to
in.
become a career for you
Yes.
people.
We
Really?
Yes.
would love that.
Yeah. Do you have other jobs?
We do.
What do you do?
I am a nurse. I'm a child care consultant, so I go to child care programs
Okay.
every week.
And I'm an executive coach and a speaker.
Okay.
We have a college professor. We have a
Paralegal.
paralegal. We have another coach.
Another coach.
We have somebody who does jury graphics and stuff for the legal profession. So people are busy.
Own catering business.
Catering business, right?
Well, what a wonderful celebration of motherhood, just ordinary moms. And I'm so delighted. Thank you again for joining me. Thank you to those at home watching, and I encourage you to check this out and enjoy the wonderful experience. Thank you so much. We'll see you on another episode. Take care.
Thank you, John.
Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank
I
you very
appreciate it.
much.
Yeah.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.